believed in the moral conscience of the white man. And since we're talking about civil rights and human rights here tonight, I think it's fitting that we begin right there. He believed in the moral conscience of the white man. Well, I'm here tonight at D&J to tell you that the white man ain't got no morals and he ain't got no conscience. Dr. King believed in civil rights. Well, I'm here to tell you that the white man ain't too civil and he ain't too right. Malcolm believed in human rights. I'm here to tell you that the white man ain't too human and he ain't too right. It makes no difference whether it's civil rights or human rights. You must weigh the circumstances surrounding the very origin of the white man into the world to then determine if he's capable of being civil, if he's capable of being human. This we must put on the scale of Ma'at and give it the Ma'atic weigh-in and see if it strikes the Ma'atic balance. And if it does not strike the Ma'atic balance, then we must make sure that we are not victims of history, because it is written that he or she who does not learn the lessons of history is doomed.
Opinion of Dr. Martin Luther King?
I believe that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a good man. I believe that his heart was good. I believe that he loved our people with all of his being, and he wanted to see us breathe free. I believe that he tactically made one mistake, and that was that he attempted to judge the white man by his own good heart.
And what does that say about Dr. King?
That says that Dr. King was one of the greatest that ever came among us. But like all of us, he was not perfect.
What would Dr. King think of what you're doing? What would, if he were alive today, what the hateful words that you have used to describe people, what would he think?
As we say in the black community, you're too much. I mean, they've given you a list of questions. You're just making sure you go through every one of them. I hope they will give you a bonus, Mr. Carter. What would Dr. King think? You sit here and ask me what Dr. King would think. How could I possibly know what Dr. King would think? I think, though, that maybe Dr. King would understand that when you have a strong, militant, revolutionary, uncompromising voice out there, that it forces the enemy in a position to say, I'd better deal with Martin Luther King Jr. I certainly don't want to deal with the Black Power crew that's out there.
You claim to be a leader in the African-American community. But what kind of leader tells thousands attending a rally in self-defense, if they touch you, take their guns? In other words, what type of real leader advocates violence when there are thousands of young lives at risk?
The Bible speaks of the Good Shepherd. And the Bible says that when the wolves attack the sheep, attack the flock, that the Good Shepherd is a responsible shepherd, and that shepherd works indeed to protect the flock from the attacking wolves. I notice you said in your statement that it was a statement in self-defense, and certainly in the Second Circuit Court and the Court of Appeals, Judge Chin and the higher court determined that my words were indeed words spoken in self-defense and self-defense only.
But what kind of leader uses those words when there are people's lives at risk?
A strong leader, a bold leader, an uncompromising leader.
And then the type of leader that as soon as the stuff hits the fan, he leaves.
Well, you know that I didn't leave, but you are playing the devil's advocate, as you do so often. You're sitting here in the place of the white man, saying what the white man wants you to say. You've seen in the newspapers, in the Post, in the Daily News, me in the middle of the police and the security holding me back. It was impossible to leave. I've even heard the lie that I left in a white Mercedes Benz. white Mercedes-Benz, which was early in the morning at 9 a.m. when I went to Federal Express. The police froze all vehicles behind the stage. No vehicle was allowed to leave that day. And as I faced the Klan and police in Jasper, Texas, after they had dragged our brother to his death, that is the way I faced them that day. And it is a propaganda scheme to say that I turned heels and ran, and I understand it's up to you to make sure that that gets out.
But let me backtrack for 1 second. You've started with, I'm here in the white man's shoes, and I guess you're headed with the Uncle Tom.
Do you work for New York One?
I do work for
Are you being paid for this interview?
But
do you get a check, sir?
Is that the best shot that you have, the Uncle Tom line?
I didn't call you Uncle Tom, but
you said
you said it better than it could be said. You are here indeed. I believe you are a professional, but I do also believe that as a professional, you have a job, you have a duty. And I don't believe that you are a reporter first in the way that you have presented yourself to the community, a reporter who reports fairly. I believe that before being a reporter, you shouldn't be a reporter first. You are not a reporter first. You should be black first, with the responsibility. What kind of reporter would sit up and keep telling lies? What kind of reporter would try to confuse his people for a paycheck?
Well,
can you answer that, sir?
Again, I'm here to ask the question.
But can you answer that?
Again, one other question.
Will you answer that, sir?
Minister, I'm not here to answer the question.
What kind of reporter
I'm here to ask the question.
Put out false reports, sir?
I don't.
You're my brother. I love you, but don't do this, brother. Be a strong reporter. Be a revolutionary reporter. It was Paul Robeson who said the battlefield is everywhere. And so you must battle on the battlefield at New York One. You
are somewhat a mystery. I believe you own a brownstone on Strivers Road here in Harlem.
You don't believe that. You know that.
Okay.
In Harlem.
Where else do you live? Do you have a residence in New Jersey?
No, sir, I do not.
Only in
You know that if I had a residence in New Jersey, it would be back on the front page of the New York Post or Daily News, as they put right after my assassination attempt, put the picture of the building I was living in and a map in case someone got lost on their way to my door.
Okay, well, that raises a very legitimate point. How can you claim to attack whites, and you were living in New Jersey in a building predominantly...
Sir, I live in New York, and it's white. I live in the state of New York, and it's white.
That's not hypocritical?
Indeed, I live in the United States of America, and it's white controlled and white dominated. And I'm now interviewing on New York One, which is as white as it can be, with a few black spots here and there.
Again, you, for the most part, remain a mystery. But can you tell us, since the last Million Youth March, what have you done here in New York as a leader? Not general themes, specifics.
I'm so happy to answer that question because my critics have called me an outsider. I must say to you that we have been working throughout the entire year with the black men's movement against crack, going door to door and street by street and block by block in the black community. That's not what I just started doing, my dear brother. That is what I've been doing all of my adult life and some of my young life as a teen, in addition to our anti-drug program. We're working to set up the free food program, only giving out food now and having free food programs here and there, but intending to lay the base from this mass mobilization, as Brother Kwame Ture taught us before he went on to the ancestors, now mass organization, free food program, feed the multitudes over the past year. We have done street patrols called crime units.
Been feeding the poor over the past year here in New York City?
My dear brother, sir, we have been doing that.
That brings up another...
And working with political prisoners that most talk about or read about. We have direct contact with them, speaking to them by telephone and in person as we go in and out visiting them and fighting for those who are on death row unjustly. Brother Gary Graham, Brother Mumia Abu Jamal, and many others of the political prisoners who are locked down. I'm not such a mystery. Black people in the black community have known me for a long time, and in the hip-hop community. But in a sense, the white man and you, to some degree, I don't believe you're really with them to that degree, are like Columbus. You're just discovering me just a few days ago.
How do you make your living? Where do you earn your money from?
How do you make your living? Where do you get your money from?
But again, I'm here in the room.
Well, how much do they pay you?
I make a decent salary.
And I make a decent salary from the masses of black people who love me.
From donations?
From the masses of black people who love me and love the strong and bold, uncompromising stand to reestablish black power, black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, and black liberation theology in our youth and indeed in the masses of black people. So they make sure, my brother, that I have shoes on my feet and that I have food to eat.
You've lashed out at some of my colleagues in the press, but if you've done any research about me, you would know that I don't back down easily. So let me try it again.
That's why I want you to be a comrade in the struggle, because you're not a back down man. We need you, brother.
Let's answer the question.
The black nation needs you.
Where do you earn your living from, specifically?
Specifically from the masses of the people, as the pastor of the church, as the clergy of the church. As the clergy of the church, I have been wanting to be a minister since I was yay high.
Of what church?
And I am still the Church of Black Liberation Theology.
And so are you paid a salary?
I'm paid not only a salary, an expense account so that I can travel. So many people, as we do with ministers in every denomination, the suit that is on my back now was given to me. Some businesses in the black community throughout America help support us. Brother, we have so much love and so much support. I almost said you would be surprised, but some of this you already know, but I understand you have to do it like that.
Maybe I should try again.
Try.
Will you please give us an answer to specifically how do you raise your money?
That's something they told you to press me on over and over again. I have simply said to you, it is very clear. I have given an emphatically clear answer. As a minister in the black revolution and the black liberation struggle for our people, and a spiritual and cultural teacher among my people, I specifically, this is not a roundabout answer, sir.
Well, is it donations?
If someone gives you a suit, sir, that's a gift. It's a donation. If they give you clothes, even the house I live in was paid for by someone else, as God is my witness.
Was it paid for by the Nation of Islam?
No, sir, it was not. But the Nation of Islam has indeed been my foundation, and what I have learned from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is what gives me my base today and gives me my grace today by God's permission.
Minister Muhammad, how does all the anti-Semitic talk lift up black people?
I don't understand, sir, what you mean by anti-Semitic
you know
talk.
Exactly
I don't know
I mean.
what you mean.
When I say anti-Semitic talk, and I don't want to repeat the comments that you've made in some of
Then you don't want to ask me the question.
About the cracker comments, the comments constantly about Jews keeping blacks down.
Let's look at that, sir, if you will. When I say, Brother Dominique, the cracker is a term of white origin. It is not a black term. And it is a term that has both a literal meaning and a figurative meaning. It means the cracker who cracks the whip or the whips with the old cat o' nine tails from chattel slavery. But it also indeed means one who cracks a whip today. Giuliani, Safer, who cracks a whip to keep his slaves or to keep his subjects or people he would like to be his slaves or subjects and would like to keep under his control, to crack that whip and keep them in line, to tell black elected public officials, I'm not going to meet you when Jamal was shot at 41 times, or Brother Abner Louima was sodomized. I'm not going to meet with you, but to immediately set up negotiations with the community, the so-called Jews in the Brooklyn area when something happens in their community. That's a cracker. We always said on the plantation, Lord, child, Lord have mercy. Here come the cracker man. He's the one who cracks the whip to keep you in line.
Okay, well, what is, besides the...
And the so-called Jews, I say so-called, not in mockery, Brother Dominic. I'm not playing to any cameras. They are the so-called Jews because we are the true Jews, the true Hebrews, the true and real Israelites whose birthright has been stolen by them. We are the true ones that fulfill Bible prophecy and scripture.
Isn't it a fact that you know, by throwing out those terms, you're guaranteed press coverage?
I'm not throwing out terms. I'm fighting age-old enemies, and I'm planting seeds in the minds and hearts of the youth and the masses of my people that we will not make the same mistakes again. As they say in the so-called Jewish community, never again. Never again.
What happened in your life that gave you your personal experience, your perspective on Jews in your lifetime?
Study, experience, living, studying the teachings of Dr. Yosef ben Yachanan, studying the teachings of Dr. John Henry Clark, studying the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Malcolm X, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Barashango, and Browder, and Akbar, and many others. There are volumes of material, and even studying the book called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, a book that thick with nothing but so-called Jew historians and scholars who explain their role in the Black or the African Holocaust.
Do you have a Jewish friend?
No, sir, I do not have a Jewish friend. I am the Black Jew. I am the Black Hebrew. I am a member of the family of the Black Hebrew Israelites. But if you're asking me, do I have a white so-called Jew friend who is not in that line of Semites, so I can't be anti-Semitic? Did you know that there are Semites in Africa? Did you know that there are Semites in Asia? That there are some Semites so black until they're blue black, purple black, and beautiful? These are people using a political term, anti-Semitism, when it's really anti-Kemetism, an anti-black program.
Let me ask you this, and maybe you'll answer it and not attack me, but let me try this.
I haven't attacked you, brother.
The Uncle Tom.
I didn't call you an Uncle Tom.
You haven't used it yet. But
well, why accuse me of something I haven't done? Okay. You're just like they are in that instance, but you're not like that in other ways.
Well, here's the question. Besides the fact that you're an African American, what is the difference between you and David Duke?
The difference? Oh, that's a good question. No one has enslaved David Duke's people for over 400 years. David Duke's people, the white people, have not been in slavery under us, chattel slavery. David Duke's people, the white people, have not been robbed of their names, their language, their religion, their culture, their God, their folkways, their mores, their norms, and indeed robbed of the very power of their own being. So David Duke's people are in power. My people have experienced an African Holocaust, genocide, and we are being set upon and seized upon on a daily and consistent basis. One of the 7 points is reparations, 7 points of action to go after reparations for black people, fighting police brutality and harassment and the murder of our people. David Duke's people don't experience that. There is no comparison.
But critics will say he spreads hate, and so do you.
Sir, I can't be responsible for what the critics say. I can only be responsible for the actual facts.
But frankly, and you say you're a leader in the black community.
I didn't say that, sir. You said I'm a leader in the black community. Why are you giving me words here today?
Hasn't Rudy Giuliani...
Did I say I'm a leader in the black community, sir?
You have?
Did I say I'm a leader in the black community, sir?
You claim to be.
I have never said that, sir.
But can you answer my question?
But I don't want you to base your question on a false premise as you do when I'm not present. I'm here today.
When you hold a million youth march and you say you're going to have 50,000 people, as you did last year.
And we did have 50,000 people. You know we didn't have 6,000 people. And you follow what the city says? You parrot what Giuliani and Safer say?
I don't parrot what anyone says.
Well, where did you get the 6,000 figure?
I make my own observation.
But you just told me the city said it. Now you say you got it from your own observation. Now, which one is actually true, Mr. Dominique Carter?
What's actually true is I make my own observations from looking from up to down.
And you saw only 6,000 people, sir?
I didn't say what I saw.
How many did you see, sir?
But see, this is very interesting. because you're not
Brother, we
answering my
love you.
question.
Don't do that. Let's hurry and get to your question.
How do you go? And it's amazing. Is this something that you do with blacks that disagree with you? You have to be a Tom or a boot licking, buck dancing person. Well, where does this come from? I mean, you've made this charge several times to me during this interview. You know absolutely nothing
I've
about.
called you bootlicking.
No, you
Tom?
haven't. But you said I hope they give you.
Am I disappointing you, Mr. Carter? And since I'm not saying those things, you're just going to give them to me. Is that what's happening?
No.
Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the Honorable Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and as you watch from the video, it's a very powerful preaching by the renowned doctor and activist. Um, I mean, this guy is somebody who fought for the blacks in America and other parts of the world. um, Relations to segregation and racism amongst between the blacks and the whites. So I just want to highlight a few key points that he made mention, you know, in his preachings, generally in his preachings and all through his life. The key points that he emphasized, that black people should keep at the back of their minds and always remember your identity and where you're coming from. So I just want to highlight them. The first point is, he said black people are not the same. He's trying to tell the black man that, okay, you are not the same. The black man of the 21st century is not the same as the black man in 1865. Two different people. He's trying to say we are no longer the same mentally and physically. The same people enslaved. We are not mentally and physically the same African people who were enslaved. The consciousness has risen. We know who we are and the enemy, and we know who we are, the enemy, and what the enemy has done to us. I mean, it's obvious who he is trying to paint as the enemy. So the next point he is trying to raise, he is saying our identity was stolen and must be reclaimed. He's saying you have forgotten that once we were brought here, that's America, and we were robbed of our names and are robbed of our language, we were robbed of our religion and culture and our God. And many of us, by the way we act, have even lost our minds and knowing this history armor against re-enslavement. He's trying to say, I mean, the statement pretty much explains itself and explains everything the message he's trying to convert. The third thing that Dr. Khalid emphasized on is that fear is the first tool of oppression. The black man is scared. The black man has gone scared. Dr. Khalid reminds the black people to be fearless in their commitment to the liberation and struggles, and that nothing, no material possession, is as important as the liberation and the salvation of the black men and women of this day and age. That's what he's trying to explain. The fourth point he brought up was, the question itself reveals the oppressor's mindset. He's trying to talk about the oppressor, and he's trying to make you to understand what the oppressor's mindset is all about. And what he said this by asking whether the black people could be enslaved again. I mean, pretty much see what's happening in America right now with the farmer situation right now, and I don't really need to get so much into that. He's trying to ask whether the black people could be enslaved again, and um he's asking whether this is possible, whether the black man can go back to the plantations, the black man can go back to the farms and work for the white man. And have we gotten to that level where the black man can really be enslaved again? Because if you look at the laws in America right now, the judicial system is pinned against the black people. I mean, there's so much that has been designed to keep the black man down. We have the gang wars and all that happening in America right now is something really, really alarming. So the honorable doctor talks about, he said blacks must be revolutionary and not passive. He challenges artists, young and community members alike. If you are going to speak, be revolutionary, contextualize reality, ask who benefits from the destruction of the black community. That's another major point he made mention in this video. The sixth point he made mention was the black nation and black nationalism and self-determination. A core tenet of his worldview was that black people are chosen by God to form their own nation. He's trying to say, let the black man leave his oppressors and then head back to where he's accepted in. I mean, like, even where you are in the communities that you are, you can make a difference. Definitely, I don't agree with this point personally. You can definitely make a difference from where you are. You don't really need to move to somewhere else and then, I mean, look at Africa. So you can make a difference from where you are. I mean, there's a lot of African countries out there, for example, like Burkina Faso, who are trying to make a difference for what in their own present environment. So you can make a difference in your own environment. So the seventh point he made mention was the uncompromising and confrontation of the colonizers, the black people, the white people. So Dr. Khalid viewed himself as a warrior for black liberation and rejected any attempts at reconciliation with those he saw as oppressors. Um, Compromise with the oppressors is surrender. That was his slogan. He said, if you compromise with the oppressors, um, you are surrendering. The eighth point he made mention was material wealth is a distraction from liberation. So the chains, the watches, the designer brands, none of these matters if the people are not free. Liberation of the mind and body comes before the personal gain. I think that's pretty obvious right now. The ninth point he made mention was Pan-African unity is essential for the black man. He said he stood in the revolutionary line of the ancestors like the Marcus Garvey, the Malcolm X, and so many others. All of them who organized free African people in oppression globally, not just in America. So he also made mention that fact that the truth is a weapon and that he must be spoken. So generally, this is Dr. Khalid's teaching. I think he was a far right, but most of his teachings are actually correct. And I mean, there are so many things which I don't agree personally, but I think most of the things he taught and he spoke and he preached about were just about right. So what do you think about it? What do you think about his preaching, guys? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.